a guest, but then we're going to get into what's going on with the city and the city's State of the City address given last night by Mayor Jason Carrera, and looking to get some reaction to that. Also, the big kind of political bombshell released late last night that our Attorney General may have committed perjury while under oath to Congress, stating that he had no contact with Russians, and we find out that he had 2 meetings with the Russian ambassador that he did not disclose to Congress during his hearings. Some people are calling for him to step aside in the probe. Some people are saying, how can you perjure yourself and be the AG? You should resign. We'll see how this one goes. But first, I want to introduce you to somebody, and this is Pierre Salomon. Good afternoon, Pierre.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. And Pierre is going to be joining us here on WSAR on Mondays at 2, starting next month. And he's going to have a show subject that I think that many people are going to be interested in. Pierre is a firearms expert, and he runs Salomon's Firearms here in Swansea on Route 103. And he is somebody who has a very refreshing kind of outlook on the Second Amendment and firearms. And good afternoon, Pierre. Now, you are somebody who also has served in our military, correct?
Yes, I have. I've been in the military for 8 years.
And I know the reason you're not starting this month is you're deploying tomorrow, right? Or
yes.
Very soon.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be going to my annual training. So once a year, you do 2 weeks to a month, and then you commit to that active duty time. So I'm actually going to be flying out Saturday night and be going on for my month training.
Okay, and then when you return, you'll be joining us on the air here on 1480 WSAR. Now, one of the things that we try to do is find shows and programs that are informational, informative, give people a reason to listen. And firearms and the Second Amendment are always a hot topic on radio. There's no question about it. Over the past 8 years, and we've seen an uptick in the number of people purchasing firearms in this country. It's perhaps the highest level it's ever been. Correct?
Yes.
And part of that was, I always joke, the big scare that everybody was going to take away your guns, so you better buy them now. It's kind of like when a storm comes, you go get your milk and your bread, right?
Yeah.
Obama wasn't going to take away everybody's guns, and now a lot of firearm dealers know that this wasn't going to happen, but they enjoyed the marketing, right? They enjoyed the impact of this whole thing. But it's also a Second Amendment, and it's one of the protected rights of people in this country. And so there are a lot of people out there who have questions about guns. They have questions about gun safety. They have questions about who was able to purchase one, and reasons for why you should have one or why you shouldn't have one. And what I like about our discussions that we've had off air is that you have a very different approach than some of the people that I've spoken to. You tell them the name of your show, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because it's honest safety, right?
Yep.
And so we're looking at it, and explain why that's important to you.
Yeah, so I went with the title of Safely Honest. Gun Show was because I think a lot of times, people who believe in the Second Amendment, they're not necessarily doing the best things to grow the Second Amendment. And also people who are anti-gun, they tend to not be honest with themselves, right? So a lot of data often refutes the laws that are happening. So for example, Massachusetts is proposing a ban for 50 cal ammunition. But if you look at the data, when was the last time you've seen a criminal go out and, get a Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle and go and commit a crime? So we're trying to create a space where, we're not talking and fighting, across the air. We're trying to have honest conversation and try to find a common ground. Because at this point, I feel like the two-way, you're either for it or against it, and there's really no real honest talk, right? So you kind of are at like a position where you can't afford to lose any ground, because if you lose any ground, the other side is just going to go ahead and use that momentum and eat you up. So I feel like there are valid concerns on both sides, and we're trying to be a position, kind of a safe space, which, people in the gun community hate that term. We're trying to, try to be neutral ground where we try to, find some solutions and move forward. Because at this point, we're not really finding solutions, right? We're just trying to create laws that either promote the two-way or don't promote the two-way, and there's really no coming together. So I think we need to have those conversations with people who are anti-gun, and we need to find some common ground so we can move forward and safely grow the two-way.
Now, where do you think is the line between where where is that line? And this is something that I've often asked many times over the year. What's the line? Because I think there were people out there who are comfortable with the Second Amendment, are not comfortable with being shot, but are comfortable with the Second Amendment, right? It's like, okay, I understand why people would want guns. I understand the Constitution, as far as we're concerned right now with the way the status is, you have a Second Amendment right to have a gun, all right? Now, but where is the line? Should weapons that are used in combat be used on the streets? Should they be available? And I guess that's a question a lot of people have.
I think the line is in education. So a lot of times you'll hear people say, hey, we got to ban assault rifles. We got to ban these, weapons of war and stuff like that. But with the lack of education and training, they're making assumptions that if a gun looks scary, it's a big, black, long, tactical-looking firearm, that it's, it's a gun that's used on, like, the streets of Afghanistan. When a lot of times these firearms could be, a 22 rifle. Like an M&P-15, it shoots a 22 caliber. But if you were to show that picture, people would say, hey, that's an assault rifle, and it shouldn't be allowed here on, in people's homes and stuff like that. So I think the line draws on education and training. And when you focus on education and training and you don't focus on whether you're a Republican or whether you're a Democrat or whether you're black and white, when we focus solely on the education and the training, then I think that's where you can start seeing, you can start having an honest conversation and say, okay, this is how I feel about this. Because now you're not just having an opinion, you're having
based on facts.
Yeah, based on facts. You're having an educated opinion. You're able to make, like I always tell people, we're not here to convince you that guns are good or bad. We're here to inform you and let you make that decision for yourself. So if you take a class, you learn about safety of firearms, and at the end of the day, you say, I don't feel comfortable, I don't like this, and that's okay. At least now you're making an informed opinion as opposed to just going out and, blatantly saying random things. And then you'll see like a lot of politicians that are anti-gun, they'll pick up a rifle and they say, this is an AK-47. It can fire 47 bullets in half a second. And that's not true, and I think that's where, that's fraud. You're lying to the people. If you believe a position, make educated statements about it. Don't go out and lie and try to mislead people. There are people that will never lack firearms, and that's okay. We accept that. But don't go and try to, prey on people's ignorance and create this false sense of fear. And I think that's the problem that lies, is that, one, the politicians are uneducated themselves, and two, they don't care to be educated, and they're using that fear and they're using that ignorance to go and push their agenda. So regardless of whichever side and position you're on, I don't care, and I don't think that's the way to do business or to do life in general.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to 1480 WSAR. My guest this half hour is Pierre Salomon. He runs Salomon's Firearms, which is mostly a gun training and safety company, and he'll be joining WSAR next month on Mondays at 2 o'clock. For his show, and I inverted it again. Safely Honest.
Yeah, Safely Honest Gun Show.
Dyslexia sometimes hits you in plenty of ways. And Pierre has a very refreshing view on guns and the way he goes about it. And we're very happy to welcome him to the airways and hope you will enjoy him too. We'll be right back with him and your phone calls 508-673-1480. You can ask the gun expert yourself.
Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for all.
Okay, now we take a good break. So at 17 past, 30 past, and 12 up, we have breaks.
17 past,
17 past, 30 past, and then 12 up.
12 up, okay.
The guy over here will know it.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about that.
This seemed to cut off on and off. Is that normal?
That's not right, no. So
okay.
you can switch out.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Thanks, appreciate it.
That's good, that's good, that's great.
Yo, what up, Facebook? What's going on? First time live on air.
You're doing great.
Apparently, I'm doing great. A little nervousy. It's so funny because, I train and I do this every day, but now, now
we got 20,000 people going. What do you say?
What do you say? So, yeah. So, trying to represent, trying to do the right thing, trying to be safely honest. Where do I plug this in? Okay, yeah. All right.
That works better.
Yeah, it's like one side is like... Maybe I'm not plugging it in right.
No, maybe it's just the jam. Some of them are not that good.
Yo, Facebook Live is killing my battery. I don't know how long it's going to last. I hope it stays. Yeah. Oh, this is perfect time to get charger.
Yes. All right, this one works on both.
All right, this works. Okay.
Right.
Scrambling to get a charger. And this doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. That's what she said.
Free Chase Elliott racing cap.
It really doesn't fit
Spend it
though.
on oil. Spend it on wiper blades. Heck, spend it on a year's supply of pine tree air fresheners.
I'm gonna go try to get a different one.
$24 on, you'll walk away with a free
Yeah. What up, Chris?
on your noggin. That's
Yeah, that thing doesn't. Oh, I have to take off the adapter. Oh, it has an adapter on it. Yeah, sorry guys.
It's the adapter.
Yeah, it's the adapter.
Proud to be a part of celebrating our own
All right,
success story
let's.
right here in Fall River. Tune in Saturday, March 4th, and join Dr. Mike and Toby live from the Brian Fox Studios at Commonwealth Landing from 4 till 6 p.m.
All right.
We'll be talking to internationally renowned artist Brian Fox.
What up, Alex? What's going on?
Launching their collaboration.
Shout out to all my SFT folks, all my students, all my instructors out here trying to represent. Shout out to Hunter Space. Shout out to One Life Physique. I see you.
every
Hey.
special
10 seconds.
program. WSAR editorials are available right now on demand at WSAR.com. So much more than radio. We are 1480 WSAR and WSAR.com. Welcome back to Rapid Fire with Rick Oliveira on 1480 WSAR. Give Rick a call at 508-673-1480 and join the conversation.
And we are back here on 1480 WSAR 422 on the second day of March. Hoping you're all doing well. My guest this hour is Pierre Solomon. He is from SalomonFirearms, and he brings a refreshing viewpoint of the Second Amendment. Your phone calls are next, 508-673-1480. If you'd like to ask the gun expert. Now, Pierre, where are you from originally?
I was actually born in Haiti. I came to the U.S. when I was 4, so I'm actually an immigrant. We came in, we spent some time in New York, and then I've lived in Boston for most of my life.
And you enlisted in the military. You went to you're an Army, right?
Yeah, Army.
You're an Army guy. And what was your regiment?
Yeah, so I joined in 2008 right after high school, so I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, so I just signed up. I'm a CBURN NCO, so I deal with anything dealing with chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear warfare. So that's my official, yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
How fun. So you served overseas.
Yes, I served in Kandahar, Afghanistan in 2011.
Not fun, was it?
No.
No.
Very hot.
Even for Haiti. It was hot, man. There was no cool ocean to jump into.
Yeah, it's funny because it'd be hot during the day and then cold at night because of the temperature drop. So if you look outside, it'll be 90 degrees, but you feel cold because the entire day it's been, well over 100. So the temperature drop makes you feel cold at night.
Wow, that's crazy. We are going to take a phone call. Good afternoon. You're next on WSAR. Hi, yes, you're on the air. Yeah.
Thank you.
I employed many people throughout my career from Haiti, actually.
Well,
And I donate whenever I can to Mother Child Ministries to feed the children of Haiti.
Nice, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, and I respect what you're doing, and I respect our preamble, and I respect the right to bear arms. And I'm going to just put something out there to you, and I'm a crash dummy result of Takata airbags. It's a whole other issue. However, I've still had enough of my mind left to make sure that as long as I'm here, that I can help to make a difference. What you're doing is very important. I think that radio communication is extremely important. And if we go back to the days of maybe World War I or World War II, that you never see an enemy in a foxhole, right?
interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the little
There were
statement.
no enemies in a foxhole, even during, World War II. On Christmas we had peace, and the Germans got together with the Americans or the French or whomever, the Allied forces, whoever was against each other, and there was not an enemy in a foxhole. And when you're in a foxhole, sometimes you have to be a little wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to
Watching your prey?
During the convention process, I've actually met with some Senate and Congress recently to start an advocacy program.
For advocacy for what?
Community, I'm sorry,
Advocacy for what?
community advocacy program.
Okay.
And now we're just connecting with people on behalf of other people.
Okay.
And our police, like was said earlier, our police, I want to call it, that would be awesome to call it pop, right? We all have a mom and a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Like protecting our police. Our police need to be protected. You know, and the right to bear arms has something to do with that. You know, and we were speaking today about, you know, the right to bear arms, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, what's wrong with having our National Guard come in and patrol our streets?
Oh, I think that's a totally different.
And for presidents, no, I understand.
For who I understand, but why? I can just tell you this. That goes beyond the Second Amendment. Now you're going to a place where, you know, why do we want to militarize our country? That's yeah. Thanks for the call. Well, thanks for the call. You know, you're a National Guardsman. When you go into the National Guards, you
Army
are,
Reserve, but yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
Same
Reserve.
thing, but it's just owned by the federal government.
But governors can call in the National Guard if there's floods, if there's a panic, if there's a big issue. But most Americans have a concern about militarization inside the country. Would you agree with that concern?
Yeah, to some extent, yes.
Where's the line there? I mean,
I think the line is, you know, we're spending more money on the criminal justice system than on education. So I do agree for that. We do need to protect our police and stuff, but I don't think sending in the National Guard is actually the right move to do. You know, the Army is meant to, you know, take care of terrorists, right? Our job is to go and to prepare and go to war.
Yeah, because you're not trained to be policemen.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, policemen are I'm sure the policemen who are listening just drove off the road too, because they go through this incredible training to be policemen. The justice system. You guys go through tremendous training, and we had this discussion. One part of your training is how to contain your warrior. The other part of your training is how to make your warrior extreme. It's the two. Some people can't handle both ends, right? And that's the problem, right? But the idea of National Guardsmen acting as policemen is scary because they don't have that training. That's putting someone who's not. That's not what they do.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I also think it changes the image too of the citizens, right? Because now you're no longer a U.S. citizen. You're kind of looking at someone as if, you know,
You're occupied.
You're occupying a space. You're a threat to you know, our safety and security. And I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go about it. I don't think it's the right way to go about it.
Good afternoon. You're next on WSAR. I mean, that's the second time she called back. You can't call back twice. I'm sorry. Again, you know, and I understand it's conversation only. The point being, that's not a place I think that most Americans are comfortable with right now. When not to get into the politics with you, but when Trump said he wanted to send in the National Guard to Chicago went crazy. They're like, not here. And so I don't see. You know, in a military threat, yes. Floods, yes. I mean, that's when they get to play the game of they play the role of hero internally, right? Versus you know, and as opposed to prosecutor of justice. I think there's a fine line there. So can you stay past the news? I have a few more questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. We're going to go to news in just a few seconds, and we're going to return talking to Pierre Solomon. He's a firearms expert. He's a military vet, served in Afghanistan. He's going to be a host of WSAR's Monday afternoons at 2, starting next month, as soon as he returns from his obligations for the U.S. military. And we are happy to have him here because he has a just tremendous amount of knowledge and world experience. And obviously, when you're somebody who deals with nuclear and other aspects
that's just my job title.
You're qualified to talk about gun safety here. And plus, that's what he does for a living. We'll be right back.
This continues on WSAR and WSAR.com.
The drawback of doing Facebook Live is they can't hear the
They can't hear
callers.
it. Yeah. Yeah, so we're actually getting calls in right now, so you guys can't hear the calls that we're answering. Gonna try to figure out a way. Is there a way to? I mean, you would know. Is there a way for people to hear the calls coming? If you tune into the radio station.
They can go to WSAR.com and watch us like that.
Yeah. So if you go to WSAR.com, you can go ahead and you could listen in to the people calling in and the questions that they're asking. I'll also be doing a YouTube video as well, just talking about the questions that people were asking and kind of going in deeper over some of the topics that we talk about. So on air, we're actually very limited as to the amount of time we have, but I can always go back and elaborate further on my thoughts and opinions on that. So, yeah. So we're taking calls from the public and, just answering the questions. Safely honest. I like that. My boy Rick is the man. I love your background, Saber. That was awesome. Perfect. It's beautiful.
Overreacting police chief
But,
telling the WSAR.
yeah, it's a cool experience. First time. So navigating some new waters, and I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah, tune in. You'll be hearing from SalomonFirearms. So, yeah, this is cool, bro. You got a cool job.
It is a cool
This
job.
is nice.
Fun. I mean, you can't control sometimes the quality of the calls you get. I was expecting some of my Second Amendment people to start calling. They've been, whenever I pose a question, we'll go back and forth.
But some people feel that way too, so I think it's good to see how like the extreme end, right? That's one extreme end where, hey, sending the National Guard to go sweep up these people, and some people really have that belief. So it's like you really gotta kind of address that and say, hey, we don't need to go there. Like, what good will come from that,
Well, people don't always think about that. That aspect of like, they see a guy with a gun, and they assume it's law. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't play, judge, jury, and execution.
Exactly, and plus, for example, if you're going to tell me that the MPs from the military are going to patrol the streets, they're at least trained how to be police, okay, to a degree. They're trained differently than, they have specialized training as MPs. They're more tactically fit to be able to have to do police work. That's not still something that they don't know the law system.
Yeah, the way we operate, you're not operating like, I need a warrant to get in this house and do all this thing and respect people's rights and stuff. You're going on a different approach. So it's hard to, I can't imagine being an MP and trying to catch up on every laws, and cities and states will vary and stuff like that. So how do you not infringe on people's rights? So, like when let's say we think someone's like a terrorist or we go through training, we'll pull somebody out of a car and we're not.
Tanya Hansen, CNBC.
Are we about to go live?
Closed lower, taking
No,
a
we got a
break.
few minutes.
Oh yeah, we're not thinking about, hey, we need a warrant for the car. We're worried about safety because there's always that split second where your life could be taken.
Exactly.
And you don't have that threat from American citizens, where you don't think the guy's gonna pull out an AK and blast you. So how do you, control that warrior that we were talking about, where you're not treating, American citizens as, criminals and terrorists and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, I agree.
it's crazy, but some people think that is a solution. Go in, go to door and clean up and.
Yeah, let's get all these immigrants out of here. So they can't eat anymore. Hey, what happened to all our food? Nobody pick it. Nobody to do the fishing. What?
That whole thing is
It puts people who are a little bit left of center but still Second Amendment. Puts people in a very strange boat.
yeah.
Because you share viewpoints with the Second Amendment people, but not the rest of their viewpoints.
Yeah.
Too.
And I think you have to make that clear, because then sometimes people use that, oh, look at this person, you think of a Second Amendment guy, you think of your typical white dude with a gun, he's racist, he hates everybody, and that's really not the story of...
But it's become the stereotype.
Yeah, it has become the stereotype. And, people like that lady doesn't help you. Sending the National Guard to go and
Yeah, I mean, one thing is she's like, starts
sweep.
off saying she's doing for Haiti. I'm like, why is she saying that? It's
yeah.
just kind of like,
And then they got into the police. I honestly was confused about for about half of it.
yeah, like where was she going with this?
Yeah.
She's just crazy. That's where it was.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's life. I'm sure you deal with that all the time.
Yeah, you just try to catch him sooner. I thought she had a point.
No, it's so funny. You're a savage. Like, yeah, you can't call back twice.
You can't.
I was like, yo, savage. I didn't even realize it was her too. It's so funny. I thought it was a new caller.
Hello, I'm Frank Baptiste.
It was just funny because you picked up right up, like immediately. That was the same.
Yeah, it
same
didn't sound
caller.
like her. And I'm like, when she said, I was just putting that out, you can't call back. I gotta do a live read, which basically just be quiet and I'll do my thing.
News, talk, sports, interviews, roundtable discussion.
And then when I'm done, we'll go back to 2 more commercials, then we'll come back.
It's all good, bro. Take your time.
What?
I'm enjoying the moment. I'm loving
Alright,
it.
this is the longest break.
I'm cool, man. I'm just absorbing. I'm learning. Right? My learning curve right now is very, very steep.
Alright, 3 seconds. 2. Folks, are you planning your vacation? Think about the Azores. That's right, those green, voluptuous islands emerging out of the Atlantic. They are just lush, green, and oh so healthy. That's right, you'll never eat food quite like that. When you go down there and you have some oranges, they just came from a tree. When you go have pineapple, it just came out of the ground. The fish, they were just caught that morning. And of course, everything is environmentally friendly, even the generation of electricity. But the things you can do while you're there, 7-island tour, 9-island tour, 3-island tour, 2-island tour, just 1 island. There's so much to see, it's hard to jam it all in. And of course, you can do that by contacting Columbia Travel or going on the web for tourazores.com. They'll take care of your accommodations, your hotels, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, some of your sightseeings. They will make sure you have transportation. They will give you one heck of a tour. That's why they call them Tour Azores. They are the experts of the Azores. Call them at 508-678-9093. That's 508-678-9093. 508-678-9093. Columbia Travel on Columbia Street or tourazores.com on the web.
Conjure visions of blankets, naps, and movie marathon.
Looking at the for snow. The current temperature is -8.
But not this year. It's time to zip on your parka. Grab
Yo, I'm at the radio station. Check it out. Got my boy Rick right here. He's the man. What up?
any size hot we cafe
It's cool.
every Monday with any purchase. All you have to do is come and get it.
Yeah, it's not that pretty in here.
It's not about looks.
Pretty
It's
thing
about
is this.
content. Yes, the content.
This is the pretty thing.
You got this cool boy
We all
right
have, we
here.
all have
working
faces
on-
for radio. What are you gonna do?
So funny. A girl always sounds good on the phone, right? And then you meet her in person, and you're like, whoa.
Same thing with me.
That's funny. So, yo, all right. So we got some time before we go back live on air. What kind of questions do you guys have, or what kind of topics you want us to start talking about on our Safely Gun Talk show? So, yeah, Safely Gun Talk. Safely honest. Yeah, safely honest.
You gotta remember the name of the show.
Yeah, we just came up with the name like legit like 5 minutes ago before we went on air. So I appreciate all you guys making all those suggestions and comments. I thought about it a lot, but my boy Rick is a professional, and we worked on it together.
We just wanted 2 words.
Yeah, 2 words. Yo, it's hard to boil everything down to 2 words. So we're going live. 10 seconds. Yo.
Streaming on your computer or mobile device. So much more than radio. It's your online home for news and talk all day long on WSAR.com. Welcome back to Rapid Fire with Rick Oliveira on 1480 WSAR. Give Rick a call at 508-673-1480 and join the conversation.
My sister-in-law was born in Haiti.
Nice.
I don't know where. Yeah. I said my sister-in-law was born in Haiti. I'm not sure what part of the island. She's from New York too. When you said that, I'm like, I wonder.
Everybody's from Port-au-Prince. Don't worry about
It's just
it.
one place in everybody's neighborhood.
Just like everyone is from Boston, right? You live like 20 miles away. Like, where are you from, Boston? Live in like Linfield.
And we are back here on 1480 WSAR 439 on the second day of March. Hoping you're all doing well. We have Pierre Solomon of Salomon's Firearms and Safety. He's going to be hosting a show here on WSAR next month. He's going to do his military duty for the government. And then when he returns, he'll come back with us and he'll be joining us on the air. And Pierre offers gun safety training courses, all kinds of things. And he brings with him some of his military experience, 8 years. And having been deployed overseas, and he also brings this kind of level-headedness. I like engaging my friend Pierre here in conversations because we were talking about this off the air. I know many of my more liberal friends who own guns, okay, who are not necessarily anti-Second Amendment. They're anti-getting shot for no reason. That's safe to say.
I think we all are.
Yeah, and I think that's an honest thing. But the reality is that there are people who associate guns more so with one political party than the other, and that causes some issues, right? Because you can be pro Second Amendment, but be against other things that are considered conservative, or you can be anti Second Amendment and be a conservative. The political parties, to a degree, one party is more associated with gun rights than the other, but it's not fair to say that there aren't Democrats who are very much pro-gun and liberals who are pro-gun, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of funny because that's the issue that the African-American community is in, because they don't identify with Republicans, they identify as Democrats, but Democratic politicians are anti-gun. So politicians are supposed to be reflective of your community's values and your wants and desires and needs. So why is it that a large segment of the population is pro-gun, but yet the politicians are not reflective of that? And I think that's where you got to hold your politician accountable.
It's interesting. It is an interesting issue because it always drives me crazy because you understand that this is one issue, a part of the greater issue of the United States. But there will be times when it just seems that both take the most extreme positions on the issue, and neither side will give anything. And so we end up with either an extreme law or extremely no law.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of what happened last week when they on the mental health background check issue?
Oh, so I'm actually not tracking that. I thought you were going to be talking about New Hampshire, how they just switched over to constitutional carry.
Well, that's another. All right, let's talk about constitutional carry. In New Hampshire, they just said basically everybody can have a handgun, and now you're comfortable with that.
Yes and no. So that's one of the issues where you talk about you're so extreme, right? You don't have any room. So for me, I don't believe anybody should carry a gun without taking some type of training.
Class.
Yeah. So Massachusetts, forces you to take a gun safety class. Where they fall short is that it's a may issue as opposed to shall issue. So I think it's just as dangerous.
Explain that. Wait a minute. It's a what issue?
May issue. So
May issue.
Yeah, so you take a gun class, right, and then you can apply for a license to carry. You may or may not get it, or you may get a license to carry and get different types of restrictions on it, right? There's nothing guaranteed.
Okay.
So I like the way Mass sets up the system where you have to take a class, but I would like to see it where it's an automatic. You don't have to worry about, if you're going to get restrictions to and from work or target shooting and hunting. And I think it's a lot of redlining to prevent people from protecting themselves. So I like the idea of getting people some type of formal training, and then, it's a Second Amendment right. So once you take that training, then you have that right to carry. But the problem that lies is that, people are always anti-gun, trying to take, they're trying to chip away, right? They're trying to chip away, whether it's guns or ammo or restrictions, to reach a point where, any type of win is good, right? So constitutional carry is a win because we just, suffered a huge loss last year when Maura Healey, banned semi-automatic rifles and shotguns. So that was a huge loss. So
And one thing I never understood was the shotguns. Why shotguns?
Well, you always hear stories of, bad guys running around with shotguns and shooting people.
Very rarely actually happen.
Yes. Same thing with why are you banning rifles like 50 caliber bullets or like Connecticut, right? The guy used a pistol for the crime, but yet it was rifles that were banned. So you never see the attack on the pistols, but they go after the big scary black rifle.
Why not the attack on the pistols?
Because it doesn't look scary. It's harder to do that.
Bullets kill.
I mean, it doesn't use logic, and that's my question. It's if these crimes, mostly using handguns, then why are you guys always going after the rifles? But I don't want to give them any ideas either. So
No. The mental health thing, I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
What basically happened was that there was in the background checks, if you were there was a mental health aspect that if you had been diagnosed with having mental health issues, that you could be denied a gun during the federal background checks mandatory.
Yeah.
That was stripped of the law last week.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how do you feel about that? Isn't that an extreme? Shouldn't we have? I mean, because what bothers me about that part is that whenever there's a shooting, we now go. We have a couple of things that people instantly think of. One, is he a terrorist? All right, but they never think of domestic terrorists as being terrorists. But we know that most of the crimes committed terrorism in the United States are conducted.
Oh no,
by
he's just a lone shooter. He's just
a lone shooter.
He's just an individual. Okay?
Yes. All right. And then they go, was he mentally ill? All right. The two pieces.
Yeah.
So when they are from another country, they're automatically a terrorist. When they're here, we go, are they mentally ill?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And but either way, shouldn't both of them be? Shouldn't we have some sort of, system in place for both of them?
Yeah, I think there should be a system, but it's very complex because mental health can be, very personal, right? So
Yeah.
you can have, depending, is it something long term? Is it something short term? Are you okay with medication? Are you not? So, like, where do you draw the line of what's okay mentally health-wise and where it's not? So I think we should have something in place. What that is, I might not have
Well, I
exactly
just look
that
at
answer.
it this way, and this is one of the things that cracks me up about Massachusetts. I don't know if you know this one. So if somebody has cancer, if somebody has lupus, if someone has seizures, if someone has these things, and they find that prescription drugs aren't working, and they go and they get a medical marijuana card, do you know that they give up their right for the Second
Yes,
Amendment?
yes, absolutely, yep.
Do you agree with that? Because
Um,
that's where I go, no. I mean, because if someone can have freaking, be on, 100 drugs, and that doesn't matter.
yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
a
yeah.
peaceful one.
Well, I can understand where that came from. So I had a very negative viewpoint of people who use drugs, right?
Okay.
So then my personal experience is that I met people and I found them to be great, found them to be a source of inspiration, really proud of them. And then you find out that they smoke weed. So then it's like, how do you deal with that stereotype of, if you smoke weed, then you're a bad person, you're a loser,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not doing anything
That's the past.
with your life. Yeah. So for me, I've met someone without knowing that they do use drugs, and then now, so it's like, okay, then the stereotype is not true. You can be a good person. You can be successful.
That's what my point is.
You
that,
can
that,
be a
that the people who, we know that some prescription drugs for antidepressant actually make people more depressed, make them more suicidal. But none of those drugs are flat.
Yeah.
See, that's my problem. The ones that we know have had people cause, on them cause death and cause problems and use guns in a violent way aren't the ones that are targeted as much. And that's why I raised the question.
Yeah.
We're going to take another quick break. We're going to stick around with our friend Pierre Solomon here. We're having a good conversation, I think. Hoping you're enjoying it and it sheds some light. And we're going to take your calls. I know someone's trying to get in. But first, I want to remind you that if you are having vehicle issues, check out Shay's Automotive Center in Fall River. Mark Shay's been in business for 27 years. 27 years. And what's great about it is they offer all kinds of services. They don't just fix your transmission, fix your, battery issues, brake issues, all that kinds of stuff. They don't just do that. They also can do remote start installations and stereo installations on all kinds of vehicles. And of course, you get your work done with the reputation of Mark Shea behind it. Shay's Automotive Center, located at 400 Stafford Road. Give them a call today at 508-673-0401. That's 508-673-0401.
To get vehicle diagnostics, energy incident alerts, and pinpoint
See, it's
roadside
so funny
assistance
because
for smarter, safer
there are
car.
people
Go
who
to
think I'm like a
Honda.com.
screaming, raging liberal. They don't know that
Hey,
at 7 years
I
old.
want to tell you about the
Sure,
best
yeah,
way to
sure.
get your business.
Fields,
Bucket
my
of bones,
father's
that's
farm.
how.
Boom,
Imagine
with a 22.
1-gallon bucket
Boom,
filled with
boom.
delicious
Yeah, it's the same thing too, because like my friends, because I'm an instructor, they automatically think that I'm Republican, right?
Yeah.
So, but then people who know me in personal life, they think I'm liberal due to my viewpoint. But I'm actually in the middle, right? I'm an independent. I like some things from one side, I like some things from the other side, and I don't believe enough with the things on one side to commit to a to commit to a side. And that's the thing too. It's like you don't have to. Why do you have to go to to this two-party system? Why can't you be your own free-thinking individual? And and to answer your question about being in a political party and having certain views, draw the line of values that you can't negotiate on. So for me, the Second Amendment, I can't negotiate on that.
I don't negotiate with the first.
So yeah, so it's like, so if you can't meet me on that, then we can't have any further conversations. And I think people need to start drawing the line.
My joke is, you support me on the first, I'll support you on the second.
Yeah, but you can't have the first without the second. So
yes,
it's like,
you don't have the first, you don't have any other ones.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, let's play with that. Let's play that. We come back.
So it's funny how people see you in different perspectives. In your professional life, you'll see people, and I tell people all the time, like, you have to talk to people who don't agree with you. That's where you're gonna have a meaningful impact.
Let's do that too. Let's say that too. Are they Facebook? Do they Facebook Live hear that?
Yeah, Facebook Live. There's 2 people watching right now. So, well, it's kind of weird for them because they can't hear. No, I guess they could hear from the sounds, right? From
they
outside.
Can't hear when someone's on the radio.
All right, yeah. So they've been tracking everything else. I know sometimes Facebook Live freezes too. Like when I watch other people's videos, sometimes it freezes. So I don't know if I'm freezing. Usually it will tell you.
I'm doing a Facebook Live concert tonight.
Yeah, usually it tells you if you have like bad connection and stuff, but sometimes I'll see somebody has good connection and then they still freezes up. So that's emerging technology, So it is what it is.
Yeah, I love Facebook Live.
Yeah,
I do play with I can get try to play once a month with my band Facebook Live. 500 people.
We're watching it.
Hey, that's pretty good. I'll take it. It's bigger than any club.
Yeah. We're going back.
Information on demand audio. Live.
Back here on 1480 WSAR 452 on this second day of March. Hoping you're all doing well. Happy Thursday to you folks. I'm here, P.S. Solomon, and he's a firearms expert. He'll be doing a show here on WSAR Mondays at 2 next month. He's going to go and do his duty for Uncle Sam. He's part of the military, and he has a very, very... Give him your title. I can't even say it. Give him your title. What your title is. Your specialty is in the military.
Oh, I'm a CBRN NCO. I deal with anything dealing with chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear warfare. That sounds fancy.
So, but if you want to learn how to use your Colt 45, he's the guy to call.
Yep.
If you want to learn how to use your nuclear warhead, we'll give you another number to call.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. You're next on WSAR. How are you?
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's good to be here. Yeah, what about it? Well, that sounds like a manufacturing defect. I don't think that's the design of the firearm. So if any product is not working the way it's supposed to be designed, then yes, it should be recalled. But I don't think that should be the view overall of that particular firearm or model. All the times you'll hear recalls on phones and cars and stuff, but we're not going to say, hey, let's ban cars or phones because, they're blowing up or burning up in our pockets. Say, hey, this product is not functioning the way it's designed, so let's recall it. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well,
the recall trigger.
Yeah, you have your 3 basic firearm safety rules. Always keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction.
Oh,
Okay.
So what it resulted in.
Well, all right. So yes, all right. If the product is not working properly, okay, that's part of the manufacturer. But how was the person shot if the firearm was pointing in a safe direction? Keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot, and keep the gun unloaded until ready to use. So my question, so I don't know enough about the story, but my question is, how did the brother get shot? Because then that tells me that the firearm wasn't pointed in a safe direction. So, okay, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So I can't even blame the manufacturer for that because, rule number one, always keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction because things happen, right? That's why you.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, and I have that conversation with my students too, right? People always assume that pointing the gun downwards is a safe direction, but you have to go, right? Every new environment, you have to assess that environment and say, okay, what is the safest direction? So we have that conversation. If you can point the gun at a window or a wall, which is the safer direction? You want to point that gun towards the wall because there's a possibility that that bullet can be lodged in the wall and it might be stopped. But if that bullet goes throughout the glass and it breaks, there's no doubt that the bullet is going to break the glass. So where that bullet goes, yeah, where the bullet goes, you have no idea. And as the old saying goes, right, every bullet has a lawyer's name on it. So you really do have to be careful. Yeah, you have to be careful of where that firearm is pointed because it can malfunction at any time. But that's a very good story. I'll actually look it up and then we'll comment
Thanks
more
for
on
the
that.
call. You have a good day. All right, take care.
No problem.
One of the things that we were talking about here, which I thought a year when we were talking about the parties and people's affiliation and feeling that they have to be aligned with a party because they have a certain view on the First Amendment or Second Amendment, and you had a very interesting kind of take on that. Can you share with people about this whole delineation of what party are you?
Yeah, so all right, so most of my friends who know me in my personal life, right, the views that I hold, they think that I'm liberal. But people who know me professionally know that I'm pro-gun, so they think that I'm Republican. So you kind of get stuck in this, in this middle ground of, which side do I choose with? Well, I tell people choose neither, right? So why can't you be independent? Why can't you have your own viewpoints? So I tell people is that, there are values and things that you can negotiate on, and there are issues that you can't. So the issues that you can't negotiate on, don't. So for me, the Second Amendment is an issue that I don't negotiate on. If you don't support the two-way, we can't have a conversation any further. And I think people need to start drawing the line on the issues that they can't negotiate on.
What if someone that says I can't negotiate on the Second Amendment? Then you just
Then,
no more conversation.
yeah, there's no more conversation. We'll move on, and have a nice day. So if you want to discuss why you don't support the two-way, right, I'm willing to have a meaningful conversation and try to change your viewpoint. But if your goal, if your objective and your mentality, I don't support the two-way, then you will not get my vote. It's that simple.
Now, you talked earlier about Maura Healey's assault weapons ban.
No.
Outside of that, are you comfortable with Massachusetts laws, or do you think they go too far?
I'm not.
Gun laws.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with the fact that it's a May issue, right? So the Second Amendment is a right. So if you take a gun safety course, right, and you fulfill all the requirements, then why do some people get restricted, right? Why do some people get denied? So when you start looking at demographics, right, so there's like a map online. You can look at green cities, red cities, and black cities, right? So if you look at the demographics of cities that are green, what are those demographics of those, of that city? If you look at a population where it's considered a red zone where you don't get LTCs or you get restrictions, what's that demographic?
Have you found a difference in the demographics of those cities?
Well, unofficially, I think, yeah, urban communities, right, or communities of color, you'll see a lot of redlining, right? Boston, right? Oh, people think, oh, I live in Dorchester, I can't get a license to carry. Or, just the other day on Facebook, someone was like, oh, I'm going to have to wait 5 years to get restrictions lifted off my license to carry. And I hate the ambiguity, right? If somebody does the training and they fulfill all their, obligations, then why isn't everybody on the same page? So I hate the fact that if you live in one town, you'll get a license to carry, but I have a friend of mine You know, he was a Marine vet. He served and deployed, you know, to Iraq and Afghanistan, but yet he had a restricted license to carry. So this guy can, you're telling me, can go overseas, you know, put his life on the line, shoot machine guns, shoot rocket launchers, and all this stuff. And when he comes back home, he can't be trusted with a pistol. Like, where's that criteria? And the issue is that you leave it up to the, you know, chief of police. So if he wakes up that morning or his designee doesn't feel good and he doesn't feel like giving any restrictions, then, you know, then you're kind of screwed out. So I don't like the fact that there's that ambiguity. And then, you know, where there's ambiguity, you know, people can say, hey, well, you're discriminating against certain individuals for, you know, based on, you know, different segments or anything like that.
Pierre, I want to thank you for coming on. I'm welcome aboard to WSAR. People, if you enjoyed what you heard from Pierre, if you have more questions, save them. He'll be back on the air in a month. He'll have his regular show on Mondays at 2 o'clock, and I'm sure that he will keep you well informed with a very interesting take on Second Amendment and everything else in life. Pierre, thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right,
I
we're going to
appreciate
turn it over to Alan Zarek in the news. We'll be right back. It was on 1480 WSAR.
Streaming on WSAR.com and flowing through your radio.
Great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's cool. Hey, just honest gun talk, right? Yeah. I mean, just have an honest conversation about the way you feel. Be respectful and, you know, tell them the way you feel. And try to back up your opinions with facts and other stuff.
This woman here with the blonde hair, that was in, I'm not here. In
Oh, okay.
Sue? Come on.
All right.
She's a gun carrier. She's also one of your neighbors.
All right, Faith. Nice talking to you. We'll catch up.